Hello, I am Jenny McKenna with McKenna Property Management, and today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2019. We are going to be walking the property at 8205 Renfrew. I think it's Renfrew. We're going to make that up. It's like, you'll see it. Anyways, we're going to walk this property, and I'm going to tell you some things about cosmetically what needs to happen from the standpoint of the rental. And there's a couple interesting things within this property that I'll get very detailed about in the video. So if you do choose to move forward with it, you have eyes open. First thing is, our driveway here is quite stained. Power washing this isn't going to help it. It is literally stained into the concrete. So at this point, I would say we leave that. If the HOA says anything about it, then we'll cross that bridge, meaning we'll probably end up having to paint the concrete. But at this point, we will leave that as it is. We do want to do a one-time cleanup of the front yard and backyard. It doesn't really look too bad, and quite honestly, we might get away with it, but it's just not going to look as fresh if we don't get it cleaned up in the front of the backyard. And you'll see the backyard where there's some trees that need to be cut back and some other things. So this will be a bid from Southwest Landscaping, and it'll be somewhere between the ballpark of about $120 to $140. It actually depends on how much time they're here to do the one-time cleanup. Also, I want to show you as we walk up to the front door, we have a painted garage floor, which is kind of dated now. So I just want to make sure that here is the driveway, here's the start of the garage. This is always going to look this way. We're not planning on changing that. So at this point right now, we do have a little bit of paint spray and then some of that flooring that is decided to peel up. But not a big deal. I think in this price range, that's not that big of a deal. People won't care as much about that. So as we walk up to the front door, I have been selling real estate now for 25 years, and I am happy to say that this is the first time I've seen this floor plan. So I'm not sure who this builder is. This is a quaint little community. I like it. It's single family houses, but it's got a townhome feel where it's got the community pool and then of course the gate as you come through. I don't know, it's got a good unique floor plan, but it is different. As you walk through the front door here, the flooring is going to work out just fine for a rental. It's actually laminate planks, so we'll probably get a good 7 to 10 years off of this, even though it's not the highest quality laminate plank. Should be just fine for a rental. I actually like the bigger baseboards that they've put in down here, and we are going to need to do a full interior paint. So in the video, it's probably very difficult for you to see all the different sheens, bad drywall repair, the fact that somebody has just rolled paint along here. Trust me when I say that the entire property does need a fresh coat of paint. Baseboards will stay white, door frames will stay white, doors will stay white, ceiling will stay white. So with keeping all that in mind, this is going to have a really cool executive feel when it's all done, because we're going to do a nice soft tan on the walls. We have this neat corner fireplace, which I think is pretty unique, but we have this awesome wall that will fit a flat screen TV perfectly with the sofa set up or chair set up, however anybody wants to go. This is a unique window. Actually, before I get to this window, I'll show you these two windows. So these actually have something that is sticking on the window. John actually was able to almost pull one off, so it's going to be pretty easy to pull off. We are going to replace the flower with what we call rice paper. So rice paper is going to be kind of something that looks, it obscures the view. So we'll still let the natural light in. We don't have to put a window treatment up there. And then we can still have the windows. We just don't like that colorful flower thing because that's not really trendy and it's too custom. We don't want that. So it'll just be rice paper on the arch window above and then rice paper right here to the right of the door for privacy. This window, however, is very unique, and there is no way that we are going to be able to get a blind unless you custom make it for something like this. So we're going to do the 2.5-inch faux wood white blinds. Everywhere there's a window, so we're going to get rid of anything that's on the windows at this time, and we will replace it with that faux same thing. We'll just start it right here, drop it down. I don't really think that's a privacy issue. And I really don't believe it's going to be a sun issue as well, because the east is that direction. So blind here, everything else in this room nicely painted. I do like that ceiling fan, so that's a nice feature, especially with such a 2-story ceiling. We'd like to push that air down during the summer, so that's a nice feature. Of course, window blinds right here. There is a change in flooring. Now we're going to be going into, again, laminate, but this is going to be kind of a wood look to it, a whitewashed wood look. And we've got our dining room area here, which is a good size. We're not going to put up any kind of verticals here. We're actually just going to reinstall this curtain bar after they paint, so the tenants can put up whatever drapery they want, if they want. There's really no windows looking in here and no direct sunlight. So in reality, if this was my property, I probably wouldn't put anything up there. So tenants can make that decision. All of these accent walls will be painted soft tan. So we have a kitchen that needs some work. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get rid of this very old looking ceramic tile countertop, replace it with granite. We do have a granite that we use. It's got a little bit of brown, a little bit of white speckled through it. I think that'll draw these cabinets in a little bit better. In the video, you're probably not able to see how much of a DIY job these cabinets are. The good news is I think I can keep them. So because of this price range, I believe that we can leave these cabinets the way that they are. In the future, they really should be replaced, or more than likely they'll need to get repainted again. But for right now, we can leave them. I do like the little accent knobs, so that's nice. We will leave this sink. This sink is an upgraded, what I call farm style single basin sink, and the gooseneck faucet, which we'll keep. New window blinds here. So I don't know who did this, but we've got these inset fluorescents on 4 areas here. There's 2 here and 2 here. And I really believe they were done after the fact, because I'm looking at some bad drywall patches. So I don't know what was here originally. However, John's made a suggestion and I agree with it. I think we should cap all these off, so this is not an inset for lights. We put a nice modern light fixture right here that we've done in previous properties that will match the accent knobs, kind of like the brushed nickel. We will put a recessed can light directly above this sink, which is going to make this a little bit more modern. And with everything capped off here, I don't think anybody would be the wiser that there were fluorescents there at some point. So that should save and salvage that. We are going to need a black fridge, and it's going to need to fit that space well, so at least a 23 cubic double door. We can live with the microwave as long as it's working. The stove is just beyond cleaning. It has seen its life and it's done. So we want to replace this with a black stove oven. As long as the dishwasher is working, we're good. That's black. And then everything else in here, there's a few places where the cabinets need to be readjusted so that they actually close properly. And there's a lot of grease, which you're not going to be able to see in the video, but there's just caked on grease here and here that we'll need to get the cleaning girls to clean, but be very careful not to strip the stain off. Since this was a DIY job, a do-it-yourself job, I'm not sure how good the product is on these cabinets. But you do have a pantry in here. John will remove things like this, patch and repair so the door looks good. We'll come on into this area. One of the things that we want to make sure that gets done, we need that carpet to be cleaned. We don't need to clean the rest of it, but this place and one other place does need carpet cleaning because it is pretty dirty. We'll follow through here. We'll go into the laundry room. This flooring is different than the plank that you see right here. I think we can live with this for now. This is an inexpensive vinyl. At one point when you change out that flooring, you're gonna wanna take that all the way in through here as well. So here and in the bathroom next door, those should come, new flooring should come when that flooring gets replaced. But for the rental period now, we can live with this. Inside here, we have a see-through or pass-through pantry. We do need to get that carpet cleaned, and there is a door on the other side that needs to get realigned, and it needs to open and close much better than it is right now. Washer dryer, we do have, I call these the 1980s whitewashed cabinets. This property was built, I think it was 1994, so it was after the 80s. But this is what they used to do for the Southwest feel. This is very dated, but this is the laundry room, so we can live with that. We do need to get a blind on this window. I don't like the fact that people can come along the side here and see in, so we need to get a blind here. We'll take this over into the two-car garage. The two-car garage does still have some personal belongings. I'm hoping that the seller will remove all of these. If not, then there'll have to be a haul off because all this has to go before the tenant moves in. This flooring is a mess. There's just no other way to say it. If you have the budget, a new epoxy flooring is about $1,200. I know that's a lot of money to spend on a property where, you know, the rent is only going to be around $1,450. So if you want to just power wash this, we could live with this for the time being, but sometime in the near future, like in a couple of years future, we are going to need to bite the bullet. We're going to need to get this power washed and epoxy floored. So what you always have to power wash before you do epoxy. So if we're doing a power wash now, just bear in mind there's going to need to be another power wash if you do the epoxy then. So it may be something that you just go, hey, if I got to power wash it now, maybe I just bite the bullet and put the epoxy floor in. But John said that it's about $1,200. There's a couple things in this garage ceiling that Ron, the inspector, is probably going to note, and you guys will be able to figure out if it makes sense moving forward with the purchase of this property. And other than that, it's just your kind of dirty standard two-car garage. All right, we'll come out this way and we'll take a look at our guest bath. That's that see-through. I can't open it because this door is off a little bit, but that's that see-through pantry, which I actually think that's a really good idea. So here in this bathroom, it's a half bath downstairs, but it is just way too old looking. We need to get new granite counters and a new sink. That'll be the same as what's in the kitchen. And we are going to have to paint these cabinets. I suggest painting them white. There is no reason to go dark brown like in the kitchen. That wouldn't be my favorite or the suggestion. We're just using them because they're already there. Let's take white throughout for the rest of the cabinets. Plus it will go better with this flooring since we're going to try and keep the flooring. I do know that this toilet needs to be replaced. The inside of this toilet is gross, and it is not just about cleaning. It's there's been some issues, rusting and so forth. So there was a question about this light. We are going to keep this light, and we can actually keep the light that's in the dining room as well. We'll just change out the bulbs. Let's go outside and look at the backyard before we go upstairs. Backyard is cute. I call it quaint. It's just enough that people can enjoy a backyard without too much upkeep. Again, the reason I want to get that one-time cleanup is just to make sure that all the trees are trimmed, anything that's not alive gets pulled, any weeds popping up, and then the biggest thing is you have a beautiful lime tree here, and I am afraid it has not been trimmed for a long time. These things are just way too heavy, and I think that it needs to just be trimmed so it can grow correctly, and then the tenant can enjoy the limes when they produce. The rest of this area at one point had something. You could see there was a tree there that they cut down. They got an irrigation thing going over here. So if a tenant does want to put an herb garden in here or something along those lines, roses, whatever, you've got the little area to do it. And then again, this section will be trimmed up so you're not kind of, trying to go through a maze here while you're going into the backyard. But cute and quaint. I think that tenants will really like a cute little quaint backyard. Now we will go upstairs. So new carpet, which is great. You're not necessarily going to have to clean this carpet. We just need to vacuum it up when the janitorial gets done. So that is, and it's not a high grade carpet, but it's good enough for a rental, and it's what I would suggest if we're doing a rental anyways. So here we go into this room, and I'm going to be totally frank with you. This is super small. This room, the only thing I can think of is you can put a twin bed right here, and you can put a dresser right there. So the thing that keeps this somewhat okay is you've got the high ceilings, so you don't feel like it's a box or a closet. But I do want to make note that this is going to be something that a lot of tenants cannot live with. If they need to put a full-size bed in, or they've got a situation where they want a guest room that's not just a twin bed, this floor plan's not going to work for them. So as we go into this area, this is a bathroom. It's going to be considered a Jack and Jill bath because it shares the bathroom with that bedroom and this bedroom. But this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. We have an exposed hose going to a toilet from the sink area. So my guess is this was a half bath or something. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is. But whatever it is, Ron will figure that out on the inspection. What we would need to do cosmetically is we're going to need to get granite countertops up here, new sink. We're going to have to paint these cabinets white. Of course, just make sure that all the drywall issues are all nicely painted. And then I will take you through this way just to show you. This is why I say this is a little bit funky. So they cut off the electrical outlet plate here to fit the smallest door I've ever seen. And then the door itself is hitting the toilet. So it's definitely a little different. We would need to get a shower rod in here. This is a good sized bedroom. I mean, you can definitely get at least a full bed in here, even a queen bed. Not much else because of the way the layout is, but at least it could fit a normal sized bedroom. Bedroom set, so bed. We do have some locking door handles on both of these guest bedrooms that we would want removed. We'll just stay with the gold, or what they call brass, but it has to be non-locking because we don't want anybody being able to lock those and then busting down the door frame. As we come in through here, this will get painted. There was some water damage here. Ron will look at that when he gets up into the attic to find out what was going on. It could just be a condensation line from the AC, but I can see evidence of some kind of water issue. And then inside here is your master. And I like the feel of this master. I like the way this looks out, that it's elevated up. You get some mountains. It's a pretty good size walk-in closet, your nice ceiling fan. We'll live with this flooring again. This is that vinyl that goes throughout the rest of the house. They did try to update the master by putting this particular countertop in, but this is not doing any justice. It's actually pulling out a lot of greens, which look really bad with this flooring. So I'm suggesting that we put the granite countertop in to match the rest of the bathroom and the kitchen. We'll paint these white so that everything looks uniform. We will put a shower rod in there, and then everything else in here is pretty good. So overall, when we first looked at the video, we analyzed the data, and we analyzed the data with the surrounding single-family houses. We said aggressive rent $1,650. That's not going to happen, not with this floor plan. We said bottom rent was to be $1,500. I honestly believe that this needs to be budgeted between $1,450 and $1,500. I'm not saying it's not a great rental or wouldn't make for a great long-term rental, but what we have here is we really only have 2 bedrooms and kind of a den. So we need to make sure that when we are comping this out for pricing, that we're actually going to be put on the market for the right price. So if you decide to continue to purchase this property with all of the things that we talked about, please budget a rent of $1,450 to $1,500, not what was sent to you originally, only because now that I've seen the floor plan and the setup, we are going to need to adjust that price.